Brought to you by Penguin.
After the Spike: The Risks of Global Depopulation and the Case for People, by Dean Spears and Michael Geruso. Read by Sean Patrick Hopkins.
Prologue. Humanity is on a path to depopulation. You, your parents, their parents, any ancestors whose names you know have been part of a growing population. And now, a reversal is on the horizon. Birth rates have been falling everywhere around the world. Soon, the global population will begin to shrink. When it does, it will not spontaneously halt at some smaller, stable size. It will not fall to 6 billion or 4 billion or 2 billion and hold there. Unless birth rates then rise and permanently remain higher, each generation will be smaller than the last. That is depopulation. This audiobook explains why depopulation is likely, how we can know, and what the consequences would be. The story in this book is not the story of any one country or culture. It is not the story of how demographics will shape international competition and conflict and trade. That will happen, but the stakes of global depopulation are bigger. Depopulation will matter for everyone, everywhere. If the narrow perspectives of one country, one culture, or one generation are all we can muster, then we will miss the biggest story now unfolding. This audiobook is about humanity as a whole. How will depopulation matter? It would be easy to think that fewer people would be better. Better for the planet, better for the people who remain. This audiobook asks you to think again. No one can know exactly what might be lost in a shrinking world. It would be a mistake of overconfidence to dismiss depopulation, either by shrugging off the consequences or by insisting that it can't happen. Despite what you may have been told, depopulation is not the solution we urgently need for environmental challenges like climate change. Nor will it raise living standards by dividing what the world can offer across fewer of us. To the contrary, so much of the progress that we now take for granted sprang up in a large and interconnected society. We have flourished beyond the dreams of anyone living in our small world past. That is no coincidence. Improvements and better lives don't come automatically simply because time marches forward. People have to achieve them. This audiobook contrasts two possible futures. One possibility is that the population peaks at about 10 billion people within a few decades, then falls and never stops falling. This is where we are headed. Stabilization is the other possibility. It's a path that looks similar for the next few decades, reaching a similar peak size and beginning a similar fall, but eventually the population stabilizes, roughly balancing the comings and goings of lives beginning and ending. How many people should our stabilized future hold? This audiobook cannot say. It would be beyond the reach of today's social science or climate science or any other science to defend some specific population size as ideal. The stabilization that we argue for is only this: avoiding depopulation without end. This audiobook shows why stabilization does not look likely unless societies choose it, invest in it, and work for it. So what would be the consequences of stabilizing instead of depopulating? Which sort of future should we want to happen? Some big claims. This audiobook makes 3 big claims, with evidence. The first one is this. Part 1's big claim. No future is more likely than that people worldwide choose to have too few children to replace their own generation. Over the long run, this would cause exponential population decline. But what about the fact that birth rates aren't yet low everywhere, or that some communities tend to have more children, and their children tend to have more children? Or what if something big changes? We may live at the cusp of a revolution in AI or accessible gene editing or...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?